have time today. These sessions will be recorded, so anybody that hasn't attended, or if you want to go back and look at something, you'll be able to find them on Renton Downtown under the Resources tab. And I think we're good to go. Our first speaker is Stephen Burke. He's a small business advisor with the Small Business Development Center, and he is also the Western Washington Regional Manager. And Stephen is going to talk about the services available to small businesses.
Why, thank you, Sue. And thanks for having me. It's fun to be here. It's the first one of these in the maybe post-pandemic era. We'll see how it goes, right? I'm going to share a little bit about the Small Business Development Centers, and then a little bit about me. And then if you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those. The Washington Small Business Development Centers is part of a nationwide network. The nationwide network of Small Business Development Centers, or SBDCs, was created in 1980 in the original Small Business Act by Congress, and it was created as a federal-state partnership. So originally, in that federal-state partnership, connected to a land-grant college on the state side. So I'm actually a academic professional for Washington State University, employed by WSU. On the federal side, we have some management oversight from the Federal Small Business Administration. So in this federal-state partnership, Congress allocates a certain amount of money for nationwide for all of the SBDCs. There are SBDCs in every state and most of the territory. Been around, as I said, since 1980 in the original Small Business Act. And the federal allocation of funds, which is allocated by Congress, then has to be matched at the local level by state. So WSU is part of that match. In Washington State, we have currently 35. We're adding several more in the post-pandemic recovery, hopefully. We are adding several more, but we've got currently 35 advisors who are full-time year-round paid professionals and located in 27 different locations around the state of Washington. So we've got a very, very large network. We are the largest network in the state of what we refer to as small business technical assistants. We're certainly not the only ones. There are an awful lot of what we refer to as TA providers who do one-on-one business advising. Oftentimes, chambers of commerce have that. I presume that from time to time your organization does some of that. Our model is kind of like SCORE, if you're familiar with SCORE, which is the retired executives. I can't remember exactly the acronym. But all of the SCORE members they're a great organization, and they do an awful lot of good work, but they're all volunteers, whereas we've been doing this in the state for a long time as full-time year-round paid professionals connected to Washington State University. So we do one-on-one confidential business advising. We're not consultants, so we don't step into a business and do a project. We'd rather teach people to fish than to do the fishing for them. So we will sit down with somebody and work with them for as long as it might take to be able to help them either really get going, to expand their business, grow their business, or if they're in trouble, to help them recover. So everything that we do is completely confidential. We don't even tell people who we're working with once somebody is engaged with us and signed our client confidentiality form. So that's just one of our value propositions, right? In that people can actually come to us, tell us what's really going on in the business, tell us their story, and then we'll go out of our way to help them work. A little bit about myself. I've been with our organization 12 years this last April. I was originally hired and engaged in a cooperative agreement with the city of Renton, and I was located at Renton Technical College in 2010 as we were trying to figure out how to get out of the Great Recession. I was located up at Renton Technical College. I was meeting 6 small business owners every day, about half of them in tears, and spent a fair amount of time. Suzanne Dale Esty, who was the Economic Development Director at the City of Renton at the time, was the one that I worked most closely with. She is now the CEO of the Washington Economic Development Association, WEDA. If any of you are familiar with that, it's a good thing to be members of WEDA. I'm engaged with them on a regular basis, and we have been doing, just in the last 24 months, I've done over 200 webinars on PPP, all the pandemic programs, Working Washington programs for Washington State Department of Commerce, who we also have a really close relationship with. I'm currently located in Tukwila on Interurban, and I've been there since basically January 1st of 2011. So I'm available to small businesses in Renton, and I'm the Western Regional Manager now of our organization. There's an East and a West, so I've got all of our advisors that are located on the west side. We have 2 advisors working out of Green River Community College, currently 1, soon to be 2, working out of Highline Community College, and I've got 2 that are in my office, myself and a colleague in my office at Evergreen Business Capital. If you're familiar with that location on Interurban, they're my host. And then we've got 1 in Seattle, 1 in Bellevue. So we've got 8 roughly in the greater Seattle, Puget Sound area. But we go as far down as Vancouver, as far north as Bellingham, where we've got a fairly large staff. So we're connected to several other colleges, including Western Washington University, Highline Community College, Green River Community College, South Puget Sound Community College. So we have relationships with those and advisors who are working in those locations. So what else can I say?
So how does one get started? I mean, how do they know what you offer? So let's say a business has been around for 5 years, they struggled through the pandemic, they want to start building up their business. I mean, what would you do for them? Can you give us some examples?
Sure, it depends on their story. So when I meet with somebody who finds us, we've got a pretty, as I mentioned, pretty substantial presence. We also have a sort of a centralized intake process now, which was really something that we created during the pandemic when we could no longer see people in person. Mm-hmm. I hope to get back to seeing people in person here in the 3rd and 4th quarters. I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully that'll happen. And then when somebody comes to me and we sit down for the first time, whether by Zoom or in person, my first question is, tell me your story, right? And that's one of the things that we've learned. A lot of people who are, as you mentioned, who are maybe kind of in trouble, struggling with their business, they're usually more embarrassed, right? So I'll spend as much as, I've spent as much as 4 hours in an initial meeting, getting to know somebody, understanding what their business is really all about, and really trying to figure out where their challenge is, right? Is it in financial discipline? Is it in a business strategy that really doesn't work very well or doesn't make sense? The business model isn't working. Or they're working way too much in the business and instead of spending any time working on the business. One of the things that we essentially almost every time require somebody to read is a book called The E-Myth, but revisited by Michael Gerber. Nodding head, you know that book, you probably read it. It is dated, but it is the book even today about the truth of what it takes to get out of working in your business to working on your business, right? Statistically in the United States, 80% of all small businesses, brand new, with a business license or whatever entity they've created, 80% statistically fail in the first 5 years. What most people don't know is that of the 20% that make it, 80% of those fail in the second 5 years. The number that can actually get profitably through 10 years is only about 8 or 9%. Of that 8 or 9%, 2/3 of those are what we refer to as a hobby business. A hobby business is one of those that is solely dependent upon the owner. The owner gets hit by a bus, the business is over. There's honor in a hobby business, right? According to the SBA Office of Advocacy, 2/3 of all of the businesses in the United States are single person owned business, right, with no employees. That's an awful lot. It's great, there's a lot of honor in it, but people also have to realize when they're getting into that it's one of those things that that has some limitations, right? Because you're always, if you're the only one, you're always going to be working in it because there isn't anybody else, right? So your growth potential is limited. The average income today in the United States for a hobby, or maybe I should say a lifestyle business, is only about $50,000 a year, right? That's the average for non-professionally licensed, right? If you're a CPA or a doctor or what have you, attorney, you might be better than that. But for those who are really just in the business themselves, aren't professionally licensed, it's about $50,000 a year. At the end of the day, that business isn't worth anything. You can't actually sell it because it was solely dependent upon that one person. And that's one of the discoveries, particularly in this, both in the big recession and in the current one that we're trying to recover from. A lot of people wanted out and they thought their business was going to be worth something, and now they're discovering that it's just not sellable, right? People aren't going to pay for somebody's client list when they can go and make their own client list and do something, you know, similar. Also, a lifestyle or a hobby business is one where you're going to be working 50, 60 hours a week. You barely can take a day off, because if you do, you're not bringing in any money, right? The business doesn't work when you're not there. So how do we get people to understand what are the constraints and the dynamics of whatever it is they want to do and move into another phase or get really better at the phase they're in?
Okay, great. So one more question. So
Of course.
what do you charge for your services?
Yeah. We don't say that our services are free, right? We say that our services are at no cost to the client. Because we receive our funding at both at the state level and at the federal level, we're effectively a government agency. Although I really like to say that we're more of an educational one because I work for Washington State University rather than the government's here to help you, right? That doesn't work very well with anybody, never did even, let alone the current times. So our services are at no cost to our clients.
So a great opportunity, you know, to reach out and
Yeah. And I'm going to leave Sue with some business cards and some brochures and some flyers that you can, you know, put wherever your office is or
Right.
hand out to people that are interested. You know, one of the things that we do really well is we respond quickly, right? So if somebody reaches out to us, they're going to hear back from us pretty quickly. So
okay, great.
Do you help with succession planning?
yes, we sure do. We do that a lot.
Okay.
For those that have a business of value as opposed to lifestyle hobby business.
Do you help people come to terms with the fact that they maybe don't have a business of value post their retirement?
Yes, it's pretty hard
Okay.
sometimes because people devoted their entire life to it, right? And sometimes, you know, a lifestyle business can sell some inventory or, you know, equipment or what have you. But for the most part, it's a case where it's a real push to be able to get out of it what they thought they were building for their life, right? And putting their life into it. But for those people for whom that business model works, we need them. We need that. As you know, so many in this country are that type of a business. They just have to realize what are the constraints going into it. But most of them don't even want to take a vacation, right? Because they love doing that so much that that's all they really want to do until they get too tired.
Right, right. So any other questions?
You were discussing some percentages of businesses that stay open once they actually open. What are the success rates of the SBDC with clients that you actually work with? How long, like, do they stay open? Do they stay in business? Do they eventually just peter out?
Yeah, you know, we don't always know for sure. But in those that I've been working with, and I've been doing this now for 12 years, I've got a pretty much an 80% success rate. The truth of the matter is that what we really do is teach business skills. And there are some who want to learn those, but the single most defining characteristic of success for any small business is a desire to be a business person as much as into whatever it is their business is about, or being good at whatever that business is about. Those people who think of themselves as being business people, and that's usually the way I approach it. If you want to succeed and you want to move forward, the goal here is for you to realize that you are at least a business person as much as whatever your business was about. And if you can do that, you've got a much greater shot at surviving and doing well.
You guys offer business classes, right? Stuff that business owners can attend?
Currently, they're all online.
Okay. Are they recorded or they are live?
Both.
Both.
So we have on demand and live. And in our brochures here, you go to our website, which is really easy. W for Washington, S, small, B for business, D for development, C for center.org, WSBDC.org, and you'll find where we have training, and then you get to our entire list. So, be more than happy. All right.
I know you have another commitment, so thank you for coming today.
You betcha. Thank you very much.
Hope we see you again, and please reach out to Stephen. We appreciate him coming today and taking the
You
time.
bet. This was fun. Thank you all.
If you,
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, so our next speaker is Zachary, would you say your last name?
Kaya.
Kaya.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Kasia,
I
so
know.
I would have been wrong. So he is from Puget Sound Energy, and he's going to talk about their low-cost, I don't know if I should say free,
can say
or free
free.
small business energy assessments and energy upgrades available.
Yes. I know, right? Nothing is free.
Yeah.
Right? But, yeah, thank you, Sue, for that introduction. And yeah, my name is Zachary Kai. I'm with Puget Sound Energy and just started actually about 4 months ago as an outreach coordinator there. And one of the first programs that I learned about was our small business direct install program. It's really like the gateway program to all of our other rebates and offerings that we have at PSE. There's a plethora of programs that not a lot of customers or businesses and residential customers know about. There's actually about 45 of those, but I kind of want to start off every PSC meeting that we have, whether it's internal or external, is a safety moment. So we're all about safety, and so one of those safety tips is for proper disposal of oil rags. We never like to leave those rags in piles. They, as it starts to get warmer out, at the end of the day, if you're cleaning or doing any sort of work on the car, whatever it may be, we just like to make sure that you're not putting those in a pile and putting them out to dry. Or if you're putting them in a container, make sure it's in a cool place so they're out of direct sunlight. And so that's kind of the safety moment for today. And then for those of you who don't know, we've been around for nearly about 150 years, and some notable milestones that we like to talk about a lot are our Snoqualmie Falls project and the Baker River Dam. And it's it's something that's pretty cool to talk about, just because it's one of the first completed dams in Washington. It was an underground powerhouse, and it's been remodeled a few times actually, but we also have a few wind facilities in Kittitas County that I actually had the pleasure of going to about a week or two ago, and they have about 279 turbines on the farm, and it provides over 60,000 homes with electricity. So those are just a couple of the bigger projects that we've had over the years. But kind of what this all leads to is just our goal for PSC is to become net zero carbon by 2045, and 100% carbon free by 2045. So we're committed to reducing our carbon footprint and helping customers do the same. And by doing that, we're offering programs that help those customers reduce energy and save money, we're always designing and implementing new programs and products for our customers that meet and exceed the energy saving targets. And we serve residential, business, and commercial and industrial customers. And one of those programs that I'd like to talk about is the Small Business Direct Install program. We actually, I don't know how many of you already know about the program, but we've done a few assessments in the downtown area recently, and a lot of it has to do with the lighting. So, for example, we actually just completed a project in April 2022 with the Latin Market, and they received over $2,400 worth of incentives that were paid and saved 7,372 kilowatt hours on their bill. So it just allows them to reinvest into other resources for their business. But
So can I stop you for
Yeah,
just a second?
go ahead.
So how many here do know about this program?
okay.
Okay, so it's good, all right.
Yeah, and kind of just how the program works, it's for business customers with less than 10,000 square feet. They do receive a free comprehensive assessment, and it includes free labor and installation. So there's no cost for LED lighting and water saving measures. They also receive incentives on the lighting, the occupancy sensors, water savers, HVAC systems, and other custom measures. So it's one of the best programs I would say that we have as far as just ease of use. Kind of like that Latin Market I talked about. You know, it's something that only takes a few days, where a lot of our other programs are great as well, but it's a more long, drawn-out process to receive funding or the grants, where our Small Business Direct Install program really is a quick turnaround time in terms of start to finish on the job and the instant savings you receive. So how it works really though is, if you're interested, whether the meeting's being recorded, for those who are interested, we're trying to get businesses registered. They can either send their contact to Vanessa or Sue or Christina, and we just need their business name, contact information, and the best time to schedule that assessment. And from there, our team will come out and do that assessment at no cost. And if they're also interested, they can go to smallbusiness@psc.com and to see if they're eligible. But
So other than the size
Yeah.
requirements, are there other things that, for them to qualify?
well, no, it's just the
Under 10,000?
under 10,000 square feet, and it's both for interior and exterior lighting as well.
And they just need to be a business, not the property owner?
Correct, yeah, so it works for the business owner, or if they're leasing a space or renting it, yeah. And then, that's kind of the main, focus was our Small Business Direct Install program, but we also have a lot of other, renewable energy options for businesses and residential customers that are all kind of like programs that you kind of have to, pay into. For example, our Green Power program is for electric customers that want to match their energy use with a mix of renewable resources like wind, solar, and you pay in $4 per month for 400 kilowatt hours of renewable energy to help save on the environment. Another great program is mainly for our gas customers or customers that are looking for connected solar, and maybe if they're not a right fit for solar panels on their business or home, they can still access the power through other solar arrays, and it's another great program. But they're all found on our website, / carbon balance, solar choice, or net metering. Another great option, we actually are opening up grant applications starting in June 21st, so next week, and we just completed a project with the Kent United Methodist Church where we installed an array of solar panels on their roof, and it allows them to save about 70% on their bill. So they're reinvesting those funds back into the community and to the church for other programs. And another project we did on the Island Senior Resources Center. But yeah, this program is a little bit different than the SBDI program I mentioned, where the grant process does take some time from start to finish. But and it's mainly for nonprofits or other organizations looking for that grant. So
Mad Energy Northwest, that's the company that did the install?
yeah, they did.
Is that Mike? You know Mike?
It was, I believe Mike and I'm blanking on his last name, but
Dalton.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mike and
All right,
Kyle, I believe, were there too. Yeah, but
all right.
I actually, was in attendance. They just had a ribbon cutting ceremony about a week ago. And our community solar program is another big talking point that we'd like to go over, just because, again, for those who maybe don't qualify for solar on their home or business, it allows them to buy in and be a subscriber for shares, which benefits 100% of the local solar without the need to install or maintain panels on their own. And you're still getting that, rebate at the end, at the end of it. So, and then lastly, I've kind of gone through this a little quickly, but if there's any questions, please feel free to jump in. But our food service rebate program for customers or businesses, no matter what the size is, but we understand that a lot of businesses in food service space, they tend to, like Steve said, businesses fail 80% within the first 3 to 5 years, and it's kind of like what we've noticed as well. So we save them on rebates for their commercial kitchen upgrades or whatever that may entail. We try to make it as really easy as possible. We're partnering with a lot of the distributors and networks that sell the equipment and offering them that instant rebate in store. So it makes it something that they don't really have to apply or do anything with. The distributor or local network already knows about it. So if they are looking for those products, it just has to be an Energy Star product or certification on the equipment, and there's typically a rebate for it. So, and we also understand that a lot of these restaurants, they use up to 10 times more energy per year than a lot of the other businesses do. So, and those rising costs are always impacted. So, any ways that we can try to find ways for them to save. For example, I'm going to say a dishwasher for an electric customer and gas customer, they can save up to $5,800 roughly. Say for a deck oven, they can save $3,200. And all these programs in this one sheet is on our website too as well. But it's something that is probably right up there with our SBDI program in terms of instant savings, and really to find more, they can kind of go to our website, psc.com/food service. They can also find participating dealers there as well, and another great tool to have. So if there's any other questions, thank you for your time too.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
Okay, your safety thing in the beginning with
Yeah.
the oily rags. I saw a TikTok. I know. And some lady's kitchen exploded because she didn't realize that wood staining rags are also in that category.
Yes.
So I thought I would throw that in because I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Can a business stack programs? Let's say if they're a non-business, or if they want to just start with the light bulbs and then they realize maybe they could go solar, can they stack
Yes,
programs?
yeah, that's a good point. So I like to think of our SBDI program and the lighting program as kind of our gateway to all of our other options. So we actually encourage that, and that's kind of where we started to realize a lot of customers may not know about any of our programs at first, and maybe they just think of us as someone who they pay their bill to each month, where we actually have a lot of these cool incentives and rebates to offer, not just with the lighting, and they can find out other programs that we offer, like a custom grant maybe, or if it's a multifamily home or a multifamily use space, you know, we have incentives for that as well. So there are, you know, like I said, about 45 different programs that we cover. And yeah, so.
What's the crossover? Let's say I did all of this for my business, and then I'm thinking about doing some of the same stuff for my home.
Yeah.
Is there a crossover?
Yeah, I mean, I get that question a lot too, and you know, there are a lot of good measures for rebates for the home as well, whether you're a gas or electric customer or both. But yeah, I mean, there's no discourage or discrimination on that at all. I mean, we encourage it. So.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm all about money and saving it.
Yeah.
So it's,
Who isn't?
you say low or no cost. So
Yeah.
is there certain products that cost money, or, I mean?
No, that's
is
a
it-
great point,
Okay.
because for the interior lighting, it is literally no cost. For when it comes to the exterior lighting, it does depend upon the actual light, whether it's you know, sometimes it may require a little bit more manpower than just getting up on a ladder and changing out that fixture. But you know, we handle all the permitting and everything like that too. So sometimes for the exterior lighting, there is a small copay.
Mhm.
It just depends on the actual building itself. But
Okay, okay, thank you.
yeah,
Any other questions?
yeah,
Myself, I received your free service changing inside bulbs and
Yeah.
stuff.
uh-huh,
Thank you very much, but
Yeah.
I have a little suggestion to you.
Okay.
First day you guys came in,
Yeah.
it's gonna be with PSW, we're gonna do free. I freak out, you know, I'm afraid of free service.
right,
You know, later on, somebody came in, gave you this, and then
Right.
later on, here's your bill. You know, we all probably face with that phone call to walk in, you know,
Oh, yeah.
to the small service.
uh-huh,
So I was so doubtful about that service.
yes.
And I think a lot of the people kind of feel the same.
Yeah.
And being facing is a free service.
Yeah.
Scary.
It is,
So I think it's a lot of people turn it down for the greater opportunity.
yeah,
And also, I have a food business. I always looking for the, you know, the equipment. Fortunately, the base price of this Energy Star is so expensive compared to cheaper versions. Say, you know, the deep fryer, I can buy around 800, and
Yeah.
the Energy Star is pretty much double.
right,
You know, it is so hard. You know, we were already heartbroken. Oh, my goodness, done, another 1,500. So, you know, and then if we contact to, again, to your assigned dealer,
mhm,
they doesn't give you any discount or service. And
Really?
usually I said, oh, okay, I know I can save long run for this, but they usually go, you know, cheaper ones.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
need more push from a PSU. Hey, I'll give
Okay.
you right away 50% back or something like that. It's gonna be encouraging us.
Okay.
This is my just.
No, I appreciate that
Thank you.
information, because that's what I'm looking for is feedback, honestly, so we can take that back to our team and
I
implement
think a
different changes.
PSU person finally showed me the tug, you know, here's us. And
Yeah.
we can call and then verify here or something like that. And then I said, okay. Yeah.
Thank you, that's good to know, because we're always looking to change and you know, change our programs to help our customers, so.
Okay, anyone else? Well, thank you, Zach,
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you.
today.
Of course.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So our next speaker is our very own director, Christian, and she's going to talk about why the appearance of your storefront is important.
Mine is short, so hang in there.
Yeah.
We're just gonna talk a little bit about your storefront. So we've obviously been through a very rough, very long years. There's a lot of things where you're really just working, we talked about working in your business, not working on your business. This is a little bit more of a tangible version of that, and taking a hard look at your storefront. So this is just, I have pulled photos from nowhere close to Washington State. If you recognize a storefront, please don't say anything. I'm doing my best not to call anyone out directly. So I'm hoping this place has been refurbished at this point. Too much signage. This happens on occasion, especially with small businesses where you're just trying to highlight the thing that you're doing that week, and it kind of gets out of control at a certain point. So taking a look at your signage, is it matching what you're actually selling? Make sure it's updated. If you're no longer sell hot dogs, don't have hot dogs on your sign. Pretty straightforward. Dirty or old signage, so we got a lot of awnings and short-term signage that have been put up for COVID, sidewalk cafes that have popped up that aren't really being used anymore. Taking a look at those, if they're literally falling apart, if they're dirty, it's time to either take them down, get them redone, get them washed. You can pressure wash them. There's some things you can do yourself where you don't even have to hire out, which is kind of nice. Limited or no signage. Where is this place? No one knows. There's no sign, we have no idea. It looks like maybe they switched their front door to a different door than they had been using initially. Really not an identifiable location. Obviously this is a side street gas station or something, but to that point, making sure that your customers can identify where you're at and see your storefront from the road and really kind of get a good picture of where you're located is really important. Curb appeal. This is actually a really nice storefront, right? But there's some stuff you can fall into that you forget about. So you got planters here that have died. You got some debris. This is not a very good example of debris, but debris nonetheless. Making sure that you got stuff cleaned up even when you have a really good presentation, really good signage, really good opening to your customers there. And then keeping it clean. Your windows. Obviously during winter we all sort of slack off because it's freezing out, right? Who wants to go wash your windows? We are in whatever version of spring we're experiencing here. Now's a good time to wash those windows, get those cobwebs cleaned up, and make sure that front door, that front welcoming area for your customers are ready to go. And that's it. Short and sweet. If you have any questions, if you have a hard time looking at your storefront and kind of calling out your own things, please let me know. I'm happy to come by. I'm very nice about it. So let me know.
Any questions?
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a second. There you go.
Okay, so I'm the last speaker. I'm Sue Bollinger, for those of you that don't know who I am. I am the Vice President of the Renton Downtown Partnership. I also am the chairperson of the Economic Vitality Committee, and also currently the one that coordinates all of these Ignite meetings. So today we're going to talk about, let's get down in Google. So I'm sure all of you know what a Google profile is. And I'm sure probably all of you might even have one. Is there anyone here that maybe doesn't have one? They're not aware of it? Okay, so this is a business profile, and there's a lot of great information on here. Come on. And all else fails, get the... So it's important to have one because it has information about your online business. Hours, website, phone number, location, and a lot more information. You can also interact with your customers by posting photos and videos. I mean, customers like to see before and after. Maybe a short tutorial. Behind the scenes, if you have a restaurant, maybe what are you doing in the kitchen? Post some photos of that. You can also collect and respond to reviews from customers. You know, it all happens. If you get a negative review or a low review, you have to embrace it. But get back and respond to that. You know, how do you make it better? What can you tell a customer? You know, offer them, come back, I'll offer you a free meal. You can attract new customers. So you want to improve how your business appears online. Maybe you first went in there and created a business profile and then never did anything after that. You want to go back in there and keep it up to date. The other thing that some people may not know about, you could track your business profile performance on search in Google Maps. So you can actually go in there and see how many customers are looking for your business, what are they looking for, what are the keywords they are searching for. And I use New Zen as a perfect example because I think they have a great business profile. So how do you get started? First you need to determine if you already have a business profile on Google. And you can do this by just going to google.com and entering the name of your business. Hopefully you will find it there. Possibly you might see a little link at the bottom that says claim your business. That means you have not claimed that business yet. But it's also an opportunity to look and see, is it up to date? Are those my current hours? Especially during the pandemic, there was a lot of shortened hours. Did you go back in there and update them that you have longer hours? And if you don't see a business profile for your business, we can help you create one. So this is another thing you should test out is go to google.com, enter in the search bar a product or service that you provide in your business and enter downtown Renton. What shows up? Is it your business that shows up? Now, for example, I was here the other day, let's say, I'm shopping downtown and I want sushi for lunch. Where do I go? What restaurant is there around in downtown Renton? So I put sushi, downtown Renton, and what came up? New Zen Japanese restaurant. So that's an opportunity for me to try a new business, and I searched it and it came up. So there's also other options, but you need to look at those things and keep your information up to date. So do you need help? First thing I would say is to go back and look at your business profile if you haven't looked at it in a few weeks, a few months, maybe even a year. Make sure it is up to date. The Economic Vitality Committee is offering free, free, I'm saying it is free.
Never any cost.
One-on-one meetings with business owners to help them either update their profile. If they wouldn't for some reason have one, we will help set one up. All you need to do is get a hold of me or Christian or really anyone and we can get that set up for you. So next week we're kind of calling it Grow Your Business Week, and we're having these one-on-one sessions. So we have limited appointments available, but if you are interested, definitely contact us. And I also have a link here. If you go to Renton Downtown and go to businesses, business resources, you can see all the information about Ignite, and I'm hoping Vanessa will put the link on there for them to sign up, the Maestro link, and you can go there and do it. I also have a one-page, double-sided sheet that gives information on how you can create and verify your business profile. If you haven't claimed your business yet, it does take about a week or so once you claim it, because you'll get a postcard in the mail, because Google wants to confirm it is your business. But once you get that, then we can help you modify it, update it, whatever you need. So there's a lot of good handouts up here from. If you want any of these, feel free to come and take one. Other than that, any questions?
I have a comment. Okay, so the more businesses that put their Google profile in and set that up, the more the map pulls to Renton. So when we talk about the downtown, like as a business, you might see another Japanese restaurant as a competitor, but for the collaboration between the downtown, we're all doing it together, right? We're all on a mission to get people to come to Renton. So this is part of that bigger picture concept. So good job on claiming your profile.
Yes, good job. Any other questions?
Maybe not a question, but a comment. A lot of the Google profiles that Will pulled up also operate under a lot of the SEO
Yes.
search words.
Yes.
So if your website doesn't have proper search words on the back end and/or when you're setting up your profile, there is a section in there that allows you to put search words. And so if you wanted to do, and you can do combination words without a space, and it'll search all of that as well. So Renton, or Japanese Renton, or sushi Renton, or any of those things will all kind of work together to pull to your business.
It is very similar, if you haven't used it, to like a Facebook profile, but for a business, where you can put posts, you can put events, you can put deals, all of those things.
And I'm sure if you need help with SEO, I think I know somebody that might be able to help you. Just let me know.
She says.
Not that I'm looking at them.
SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization.
Oh.
So whenever you are on a search engine, which the second largest search engine is Google, the first is YouTube, but you can't find businesses technically on YouTube like that. So then ultimately Google is the place to search that kind of stuff out.
So that concludes today, but we do have, I can't believe we got 4 speakers in 45 minutes. We did a good job on that.
8:30 in the morning, good
Yeah,
job.
but so as long as we have a few minutes, I'm going to ask a couple of questions about these Ignite meetings, just so we can gear them toward what you